Hey YouTube, this is Terry, better known as Mr. White Keys. And don't you hate YouTube videos that start off with, hey YouTube? Let's try this again. Hi, I'm Terry, better known as Mr. White Keys, and today I've got something really special for you. What I'm wearing right now is the Leisure Society Meranos, and this is in a British racing green with 24 karat gold accents. We're going to talk about that in more depth, so don't go anywhere. Leisure Society is a luxury eyewear brand established in 2011 by Shane Baum, known for its focus on heirloom design and its high-quality materials like titanium and gold plating. They use a special process for gold plating. We'll talk about that in a minute. Heirloom design refers to the idea that you create it once and then it lasts forever. The brand, which crafts its frames in Japan, aims to create eyewear that is both timeless in style and built to last for generations. The brand's name and philosophy are rooted in Baum's vision of the leisure lifestyle, emphasizing moments of enjoyment with family and friends and a love for cultured pursuits. Shane Baum grew up in a town with one stoplight, one grocery store, and 2 bars, where he was known among locals as the wrestling champion. His career in eyewear design began with designing for Mossimo, followed by collaborations with Paul Frank, Louis Vuitton, and Marc Jacobs. Living in Newport Beach at the time, he launched Leisure Society in 2011 and set up a headquarters in Costa Mesa, California. All Leisure Society frames are made in small batches, handcrafted in Sabae, Fukui, Japan, using a 180-step process, and they're individually numbered. Every pair comes with a nesting gift box that includes a premium 20 by 20 centimeter cleaning cloth, a genuine leather folding case, and a magnetic closure that collapses down for easy storage, and a Leisure Society Key Club warranty booklet describing the lifetime warranty. The Merano is inspired by the Italian border town, which borders on Germany, by the same name in South Tyrol, northern Italy, known for its rich landscapes and culture. About half of its population speak Italian and the other half speak German. It's also known for its spa resorts and is located within a basin surrounded by mountains that stand up to 10,942 feet above sea level at the entrance of the Pasir Valley and the Viscao. This is a retro-inspired, oversized piece that is balanced with modern craftsmanship and calls back to older 1920s, 1930s designs with a modern twist. It employs modern craftsmanship that presents a confident, expressive, fashion-forward energy of wearable luxury that doesn't shout. Employing thick and chunky 8mm thick, 3-dimensionally sculpted premium Japanese acetate, softened by clean beveling that present a number of sharp angles. It has a 55 eye size, a 21 nose bridge, and 145 temples with a 42mm lens height. The metal parts are constructed from block titanium. It features a practically indestructible 7-barrel gold-plated hinge with an oversized gold-plated hinge plate attached to 2 gold-plated hex head screws that are both decorative and functional. They bracket the acetate temple arms to the gold-plated titanium metal core, adorned with some of the most exquisite patterns that I've ever seen, visible through the crystal acetate laminate window on the multi-layered temple arms. The frame front is equally interesting because it's a composite design that has 2 layers of acetate that sandwich a gold-plated rim wire. There are also 2 gold-plated hex head screws that hold the composite acetate front piece and inlay together, with a gold rim wire sitting between the layers that peaks above the top of the frame front and across the inlay of the nose bridge. Both the nose pads and pad arms are also gold-plated, and they're adjustable, allowing a secure floating fit across a range of bridges. And how many times can I say gold in the same sentence? Let's see. The gold is also 24 karat gold, prized for its luster, its authenticity, and its value retention. That's fused onto the titanium using an ion-plating process used in jewelry, which is 8 times more corrosion resistant than electroplating, which is what other manufacturers use. So one of the things that Leisure Society does with these frames and all of the frames that they make that I really like and I can really relate to in a very direct way. So they have this key, and you can see it here on the cleaning cloth. Let's see if I can show that. So there's the key. Now that key is also on the cleaning cloth. It's also on the inside of the temples. And if you get the sunglasses, they laser engrave it onto the lens itself. And what I really like about it is that key symbolizes remembering what's important. So the key to life is to spend quality time with family and friends and loved ones. And this is certainly something that echoes with my experience. As many of you know, a couple of years ago, I got hit by a drunk driver and almost killed. And I spent more than half a year in the hospital. It put me in a wheelchair. One of the things that I learned as I was sitting in the hospital wondering, am I going to survive? You know, I had heart surgery. I had several other types of surgeries. One of the things that I was not thinking about was I was not thinking about my job. I was not thinking about how much money I made or what kind of house I had or what kind of car I drive or many of the other things that seem to fascinate us so much. What I was thinking about was, what kind of impact have I made on the world? You know, how have I treated people? How will I be remembered? Have I loved my children enough? Have I treated my wife the way she deserves to be treated? Have I brought joy and love into their lives? And I also thought about people that I knew, where I knew the face, but I didn't really know the name, people at your neighborhood grocery store or people that you interact with every day. And I wondered, why don't I know their name? Why don't I know something about them? Why don't I look them in the eyes and listen to them when they talk? And I was certainly thinking about those people while I was laying in the hospital. So all of those casual people that you meet, take the time to look them in the eyes. When you ask them how they're doing, mean it. And share that love and joy with everyone. The world is hard enough today. It needs more love and joy. And if that's one thing that we can do while the world seems to be on fire, then it's a pretty easy thing to do. Make it a point to make every contact, every human contact in your life meaningful. The other thing I noticed is that we always seem to be looking for good, and it's always somewhere in the future. You know, whatever it is, right? There's always some constellation of things that we feel like need to happen before we can be happy, and it's always in the future. But you don't know that you have that time. I almost died on May 7th, 2023, but I'm here. I woke up in a hospital and I was in pain, but that pain was telling me I'm here, and I'm here for my wife, and I'm here for my family. I have a chance to fight for my life, and so that's what I did. And I'm still doing it. So the lesson here, I think, is look for all the good that's happening in your life. Right here, right now, right where you are. When you start doing that, you'll start realizing there's so much good going on all the time. And look for every proof of God's care. I think it will so dramatically change your perspective on life. It's a real game changer. So, and of course, never let a word leave your lips to a loved one that couldn't stand as the last word you ever said to them. So that's one of the reasons why I like Leisure Society. I think that was probably a little deep for an eyewear review, but it is meaningful to me. And shout out to Shane Baum. Thank you for all you're doing. Now these come as both optical frames and they also come as sunglasses. Sunglasses, I think they charge a little bit more for the sunglasses. They also come in a number of colorways, and it's also the bigger brother to the Equense, which is another frame that looks similar, but instead of a 55 eye size, it has a 51 eye size. I prefer the Meranos. So I added a prescription lens in Trivex, and this is a single gradient emerald tint, 30% to clear at the bottom. And then to that, I added a gold flash mirror on the front. So the prescription lens is an IoT endless single vision, and I made these as computer glasses. So this is a freeform lens, but it's made for computer glasses, and it includes a blue blocker. Now I love the way the gold flash mirror pulls out the 24 karat gold on the sides. Merano is sold in a number of colorways. One of them is black, and it has the detailed coining work on the core wire, but it's visible on the inside of the temple instead of on the outside. They have another one where it's visible on the outside, and it's also black, but it features rose gold, so it has a little bit of a different colorway, and it's also like a black tortoise, so it's a very interesting color. And they have a number of other ones. This one is British Racing Green. I think they have a matte gray, and they have a few others as well. So when I got these glasses, I really loved the way that they look. Especially I love the way that the gold flash mirror kind of pulls out the gold in the temple core wire. Now my wife was with me when I did the unboxing for this, and when she first saw this and saw the color, she loved it so much. She like drew her breath in. She's like, my gosh, that's beautiful. But when I told her that I made this as a computer lens, she lost her mind. Why wouldn't you want to wear this every single day? And you know what? She's not wrong. So there are a couple of things that I learned from this experience. What I'll probably do is I'll have the lenses switched out with regular progressive lenses as opposed to computer specific lenses. And then I'll find a frame that's a little bit more pedestrian, since the only people that are going to see the frame are, you know, me sitting in my office, right? So that's something I'll probably end up doing next year. So I've learned some things from this experience. Number one, you don't pick a frame that is this beautiful and then make it like a computer glasses. Unless you want to be seen in the office or something like that, but I work from home, so that's not really the case for me. So that's definitely a lesson learned. The next thing that I learned is I love the way the gold flash mirror looks on these glasses, but what I don't love are the reflections you get on the back. Now I used a premium anti-reflective coating on the back of the lens, which if you're gonna do any kind of a flash mirror, that is an absolute imperative. If you don't, you literally won't be able to see, because there will be so many reflections on the back of the lens that they literally just won't even be usable. So don't do that. And in the future, if I were trying to make computer glasses, I would probably not add the mirror, because the flash mirror does increase the reflections that occur at the back of the lens. And when you're trying to look at a computer, you've really got enough to contend with without the extra reflections and things like that. So even if you add an anti-reflective coating, you're still going to get a little bit, and that's not going to bother you in everyday use. But when you're trying to look at a computer screen, it does tend to be a bit distracting. So if I'm going to do computer glasses in the future, I would not do flash gold mirror. I don't want to distract from the fact that I love the flash gold mirror. The flash gold mirror really looks good with this frame, and I can think of a lot of other frames that it would look good, especially if you have gold accents on the outside. It just really pulls it out. Better luck next time, I guess. That'll be something I'll do next year. So that's all I've got for you today. These again are the Leisure Society Meranos. If you like these, but you're looking for something a little smaller, you might want to check out the Leisure Society Equense, also named after a coastal town in Italy. And I absolutely just love the brand, and there is a 100% chance that I will be buying another pair of Leisure Society glasses. So look for those videos. Coming up, we've got some James Oro glasses that are absolutely going to knock your socks off. I made these as sunglasses, but I do use them indoors, so they're kind of a category 3, maybe the north side of category 2, but a category 3 sunglass. So if you wanted to rock them indoors, you could. You might look a little suspicious. You know, you might have somebody call security, like, why is this guy wearing glasses? Is he a druggie or something? What's going on? So for the record, I do not do drugs, I do not drink, I do not smoke, I do not gamble, but sometimes I take my vitamins out of order. Yeah, so I am definitely keeping it gangster. I am keeping it G, living la vida loca, you know, living dangerously. When you see these James Oro sunglasses, you're gonna want some. And I have some good news for you. If you're looking for James Oro frames, if you look in the description down below, I've added a link. If you click on that link, you will get 15% off James Oro frames. That's it for today. So thanks. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.